Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. We're here this morning for the Administrative Matters meeting. I call this meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me if able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. We have a very full house today. We have a lot of proclamations to do this morning. And I'm Kristen Stevens, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. With me are my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally and Commissioner John Kafalis. From the clerk's office, we have Lindsay Jones. We have our county manager with us, Lorenda Volker. We have Tom Clayton from our public affairs office, and we have Sarah Martin from the commissioner's office. So we will begin, as our meeting always does, with public comment. And we have two folks signed up for public comment. Sarah, do we have anyone on the phone this morning for public comment?
No, Commissioner.
We don't. Okay. So after the two people that signed up, we'll offer public comment open to everyone who's in the audience if anybody else would like to give public comment, but we'll start with the folks who are signed up. And the first person on the list is Greg Leverett. So Greg, we'll have you come to the podium and introduce yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Greg Leverett from Lime, Colorado. I've brought this up quite a bit to you. I feel like I'm talking to three empty chairs, especially you, John Kafalis. So you sit there and supported Steve Johnson. So one thing that's kind of interesting, March 9th, 2025, I was at home. I usually don't answer the phone. Somebody called. I answered the phone. They were asking for my father to come out and do vet work. We closed the clinic in December of 2012. My father died in 2020. And he still has a reputation that people are wanting to have him do vet work. Do you think Steve Johnson ever did that? Do you think he ever questioned law enforcement where the DA wrote a letter stating how they saved the young girl's life and they gave the girl the wrong treatment and Steve Johnson was too incompetent to know it? My son, they accused me of abuse by my son who has Hirschsprung syndrome. Did Steve Johnson ever do anything about it? No. And the thing of it is that's quite common in dogs. And that's all he worked on was small animals. But yet you support that kind of incompetence, and you're supporting that kind of incompetence today. You never questioned the DA's office, law enforcement, any of them for their incompetence. So anyway, I'm talking to empty chairs. You guys are doing nothing, and you're allowing the abuse of children to continue through your Department of Human Services. Laura Walker accused me of not knowing the financing for DHS when I was sitting in the parking lot of Adams County Department of Human Services. Oh, you don't understand it. I barely understand it. And what did you guys do as commissioners? You made her head of the department. I mean, you should change from committed to excellence to committed to incompetence and corruption, because that's what you're doing. And you're all empty chairs. And you could respond to me sometime, but you don't have the backbone to do that. Because you're a chicken, worthless.
Thank you, Mr. Leverett. We will move to Cindy Buckhart.
Cindy Buckhart, president of the Larimer County 4-H Foundation. And I apologize, but I'm going to go a little bit over the 3 minutes because I couldn't cut it out as best I could.
Yeah, you cannot go over the 3 minutes, so we will cut.
Commissioners, I am sure you're well aware of why I'm here today. You all have received the email from Connor McGrath dated March 24th that was addressed to the Larimer County 4-H Foundation. The first paragraph states that the Ranch Events Complex has a long-standing of supporting the Larimer County 4-H Foundation. However, is that really true after the last 3 years? 2023, Mr. McGrath implements that food operations will require prepackaged, ready-to-eat food products. Mr. McGrath stated this change is not unique to the 4-H Carnival. Wrong, it was very unique. The carnival had hosted a bake sale until this time and now is forced to cease the practice after 64 years. 2024, Larimer County 4-H Foundation hosted its 65th annual carnival without having the OVG concession stand open. We lost many patrons as they left the carnival to find food. We addressed that the prepackaged foods with the clubs, which made several of the clubs that historically did carnival-type food unable to do so. Then the foundation is made aware that it is no longer considered 4-H and will have to pay fees for the use of the ranch facilities. I spent many meetings here addressing this very question. December 26, Mr. McGrath informs me that the Larimer County 4-H Foundation is once again considered 4-H and we can move forward with the 66th annual carnival. OVG reached out to us about being available. The foundation had to guarantee to cover OVG sales at a minimum of $100 per hour. The foundation had to put our credit card on file. Then the general manager replied that OVG would not open. So after further discussion, the concession manager had already made the commitment. The general manager conceded. Now I ask you, is this the ranch or event complex showing support of the carnival? Email from OVG January 23rd. Requested a list of vendors by 10 a.m. February 1st, a week before to submit this information. February 6th, OVG General Manager sends emails. She regrets to inform the foundation that OVG is unable to provide concessions because the foundation had not submitted the requested information. This had never been requested of the foundation previously, and the foundation had vendors coming in until February 23rd. Therefore, we could possibly not give the information requested by February 1st. Remember, the foundation is 100% volunteers and not paid staff as OVG employees are. Carnival arrives and the ranch staff employee apparently decided to request to see the license of the food vendors without the knowledge of the foundation. This is very unprofessional and inappropriate. The foundation's understanding was that the vendors had to be commercial and licensed. All vendors were commercial. By their definition, commercial refers to activities aimed at generating profits. The vendors had a license. Some were cottage license, which is acceptable by the Cottage Food Act of 2012 and the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, allowing limited types of food products that are not potentially hazardous to be sold directly to consumers. Apparently, OVG and Mr. McGrath did not recognize these as licensed vendors. The foundation was never made aware of this. As stated by Mr. McGrath, that the foundation was non-compliant with food distribution. How can we be non-compliant of information that was not provided? Effective immediately, the Ranch Events Complex will no longer host events organized by the Larimer County 4-H Foundation. As you know, I have requested twice.
Cindy, your time is up. Can you wrap up, please?
By rewriting the foundation, then Mr. McGrath fulfills part of the decree you gave to him to make the Ranch Events Complex self-sustaining, because the ranch will no longer have the expenses of hosting the foundation.
Cindy, you're out of order.
Not only the carnival that has been hosted in Larimer County for 66 years, as well as awarding scholarships to many that you have attended. Is this really what you want?
Your time is up, Cindy. Thank you. Right. Want to open it up to anyone in the audience who would like to give public comment? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to give public comment? All right, seeing none, we will close public comment for the morning, bring it back to the commissioners. Are there any commissioners who want to respond to the Commissioner Shattuck McNally?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our first speaker, I know he comes every once in a while, and I just want to state for the public who are listening, and this is something that happened before we were even on the board. We have nothing to do with this. I'm just wanted to make sure that's very noted, that this is something that this current seated board has really nothing involved with. And I believe in addressing to the previous comment, I do not agree with all the information, and we know we have sent multiple letters informing over the last 2 to 3 years, informing the procedure and the process and understanding. And that's all I have to say. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kafalis, any comments?
Just to send my thoughts and prayers to the two folks that came here during public comment.
Thank you. All right. Just to remind folks, you're always welcome to come to public comment. You can also contact us via email and by phone, and we will have public comment again next week at this same meeting at 9 a.m. So move on to the next item on the agenda, approval of the minutes for the week of March 31st. Commissioner Kafalis, can you make that motion, please?
Yes, I move to approve the minutes for the week of March 31, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner?
Aye.
That motion passes 3-0, and we will go to Sarah for our upcoming schedule review.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for April 14th through the 19th. On Monday, April 14th, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., there will be a work session regarding generative artificial intelligence policy in the Commissioner's conference room on the second floor. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a work session for behavioral health services to present 2025 Impact Fund grant program recommendations. in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual State Forest Health Council Leveraging Resources Committee meeting. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., there will be land use items with the Development Review Team. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Tuesday, April 15th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Community Corrections Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 2307 Midpoint Drive in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. From 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m., there will be legislative direction to county staff in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will volunteer at the Fort Collins Rescue Mission Easter Banquet at 316 Jefferson Street in Fort Collins. On Wednesday, April 16th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Big Thompson Wildfire Ready Action Plan Stakeholder Project Prioritization meeting at the Larimer County Office of Emergency Management at 4872 Endeavor Drive in Johnstown. From 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., there will be a work session for an update on progress of the 2024 to 2028 strategic plan in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Veterans Together meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the Boyd Lake Conference Room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Thursday, April 17th, from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Housing Catalyst Board of Commissioners meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 1715 West Mountain Avenue in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. From 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioners Stevens and Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Transportation and Natural Resources / Wildfire Committee meeting. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., there will be Common Grounds with Commissioner Shattuck McNally. Topic and location will be announced prior to the event. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the National Association of Counties Resilient Counties Advisory Board meeting. From 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Colorado Department of Transportation Region 4 Transportation Planning Region Chairs, Statewide Transportation Advisory Council Representatives, and Transportation Commissioners meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 10601 West 10th Street in Greeley or virtually via Google Meet. From 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Estes Valley Planning Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the Estes Valley Community Center at 660 Community Drive in Estes Park or virtually via Zoom. From 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Board of Health meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the Department of Health and Environment at 1525 Blue Spruce Drive in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. On Friday, April 18th, from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual State Forest Health Council Legislative Committee meeting. From 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together member check-in meeting. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Homeward Alliance Project Homeless Connect event at Northside Aslan Community Center at 112 East Willow Street in Fort Collins. From 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Colorado Counties Inc. Legislative Briefing meeting. From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Sunrise North Loveland Community Health Center open house at 201 West 69th Court in Loveland. And on Saturday, April 19th, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Earth Day Fort Collins celebration at the Civic Center Park at 225 LaPorte Avenue in Fort Collins.
Thank you, Sarah. Commissioners, is there anything you'd like to correct or add on your schedule? Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. First, Sarah, thank you. Just want to express my gratitude, and to Brenda and to Melissa for all the work you guys do. I know I say this every week, but it is a lot to get this all wrangled. I wanted to say on April 17th, looks like I'm going to have to move my common grounds. I need to talk to CCAT about that. They tend to put our other meetings on without really checking our schedule. But Commissioner Stevens and I both chair that meeting at 11:30 to 1, so I probably can't do my common grounds at the same time, though that was on there first. So I'll have to maybe move that back to 1, so I can get that done. And then on Commissioner, are you just checking? I'm just have a couple more if you don't mind, Madam Chair. I don't know. I hear some noise, so.
I'm not.
I'm also on Saturday. I'm also going to the Earth Day thing. I'm probably going to be there between 12 and 4. I also have to pick up my beads. It's Earth Day, and I'm volunteering at some events because I'm spending my whole birthday doing things for the community and the Earth planet. So I'll be getting the rest of those on my calendar. And then I think that's all I have for now.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Commissioner. Commissioner Cafalas, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, everyone. I just regarding the Veterans Together Now meeting on Wednesday, 4 to 5. I would check with the Veteran Service Office if that's actually happening. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just have a couple things, Sarah. So on Thursday, April 17th, from 1:15 to 2, I'll be reappointed at the State Senate for the Middle Income Housing Authority Board. And then on Friday, I would like to join Commissioner Cafalas at the Homeward Alliance Project Homeless Connect event, probably earlier than later, probably 10 to 11 for me. And then I would also like to attend the Earth Day celebration on this Saturday. And that is all I have.
Madam Chair, I forgot, I also wanted to add the Homeless Connect thing on Friday, the 18th as well.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. I think that is it for our schedule. So we will move on to our next item, which is the consent agenda. And I will read through the consent agenda and see if we want to pull anything off the consent agenda. The first item on the consent agenda are abatements. There are a number of abatements from the Saratoga Falls third filing in Timnath, and you can read more about those on our website. We have 6 agreements on the consent agenda. The first one is the WIOA MOU Service Delivery Agreement. So this is for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. They identify entities that are required to be partners with us in the local one-stop delivery system. Arbor E&T, doing business as Equus Workforce Solutions. Job Corps is one of those required partners. And so this MOU will create a workforce center ecosystem in Larimer County that enhances service, and the term will go through June 30th of 2026. Next agreement is an apprenticeship building America. This will be an agreement with the Arapahoe Douglas Workforce Development Board. That workforce board received an Apprenticeship Building America Round 2 grant, and it required the establishment of apprenticeship consultant positions that provide technical assistance to the local workforce system for scaling up apprenticeships in Colorado. And that agreement will go through June 30th of 2028, and the total dollar amount is $321,000. We have a grant agreement for the Estes Park Fish Hatchery housing project. This is a housing development in the town of Estes Park that will provide dedicated workforce housing units, and it is an initial start to addressing the shortage of housing available for the Estes Valley local workforce. We're happy to be a partner with that. And that would be $2 million that came from American Rescue Plan dollars. and that agreement will run through December 31st of 2027. We have an amendment to the crossing agreement for the Larimer County Poudre River Trail Project, and that is crossing over the Cache-la-Poudre Irrigating Company's Greeley Canal number 2. We have our fifth item is a development agreement for SAS Conservation Development. This development is a subdivision of 45 acres into 2 lots with one residual lot. Lot 1 is 5.72 acres. The residual lot is 34.32 acres. And that, then we have an agreement with Larimer County and the United Way of Larimer County for Children and Youth Services. This is a one-time cost sharing between the county and the United Way to provide for children and youth community services, and the county will be paying a lump sum of $50,000, and that will go through, the term will be through the next 5 years. We have a recommended midterm appointment to the Community Corrections Advisory Board for Jana Redden, and that term will end June 30th, 2026. We have one deed. It's a deed of dedication of easement. This is a requesting approval of public safety access easement over and across emergency services parcel at County Road 56 and 19, allowing emergency services personnel and their vehicles to respond to an emergency on the property. We have 2 liquor license renewals, one for Sundance Trail Guest House in Red Feather Lakes, and that's a retail liquor store license, and one for Horsetooth Store Gas and Liquor LLC, and that also is a retail liquor store license. We're almost done. I know this is exciting, but it's important work. We actually have 7 miscellaneous items. We have a tax, an stipulation as to tax year 2024 value for Freedom Storage. We have a grant of trail easement for the Poudre River Regional Trail. That is an easement for a portion located between Timnath and Windsor. We have a renewal of a retail marijuana store license that is for Choice Organics. We have a Loveland Fire Rescue Authority updated fire impact fees. So this is between Loveland Fire Rescue and an intergovernmental agreement with us. Those fees are collected and assessed when building permits happen in that area of that Loveland Fire Rescue Authority. We have legislative positions that you can read more about either on our website or the Secretary of State's website. We have a statement of authority for closing documents associated with the D-Dart Ranch Conservation Easement, and we have 2 of those statements of authorities for that same property. Finally, we have one financial policy. This is an update to the county's signature authority to modify the signature authority for grant documents. And then one resolution. This was a finding and resolution for a public hearing that we had at one of our land use hearings, and that is to deviate from the requirement of installing electric vehicles parking spaces associated with EV charging infrastructure. And that is all for the consent agenda. Would either commissioner want to remove anything from the consent agenda? All right, then I will ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve the consent agenda for April 8th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. Our next item is Commissioner's Guest, and we have Diane LaPierre, but she is actually also the discussion item. So I think we'll just bring her up to talk about whatever she wants. You know, if there are additional things. We're open here, right? So we are proclaiming April 6th through 12th as National Library Week, but Diane, you're also welcome to tell us anything else that's going on at the library.
Right, so I am excited to be here again. This is my 4th time to visit you all as the Executive Director of Poudre Library District. So I'm here to to give you our report to the community, which we do annually to both the city and the county, and also to celebrate National Library Week. And when I was here last year, one of you said, well, where are the rest of the Larimer County libraries? So I'm thrilled to be here with representatives from the Berthoud Library. Amy Pila and is the executive director, and Julie Ullman is the board president. From Loveland, the other Amy Phillips, is the library director. From Wellington Library, Ross Lejeunesse. And then my colleagues from Poudre Library, Katie Alman with a camera, is our communications director, and our soon-to-be board chair, Corey Radman. She's currently vice chair. And from Red Feather Lakes is Darlene Kirkpatrick here. Kilpatrick. She is the outreach and programming librarian. And from Estes Valley, we have Cindy Morris. Yay, in the back, who is the board president. So we have somebody from all of your Larimer County libraries here in a show of force for libraries. It's a kind of tough time for all sorts of reasons, but our public libraries are an important institution, and happy to be here to sort of speak on all of our behalf and celebrate the joy that is libraries. So our report to the community, if we could get the presentation up.
Do we have that presentation?
Yes, it was emailed last week. I do. Sure, sorry about that. So I will freeform for a while. Here is the printed report.
We actually have a copy.
We can use our imagination.
Okay, yeah, I know. It feels like without a PowerPoint, there's nothing to say, but I have plenty to say.
It looks like Sarah. Sarah, are you pulling that up for us?
There's the PDF version would be great. Yeah, that's okay. I'll go ahead and get started.
Okay.
So I'm proud to share the accomplishments that we've had in 2024. And 2024 was yet another amazing year of increased activity in Poudre libraries. All the numbers are in the report, so I'm not going to talk a lot of numbers, but our visitors increased, number of people came through our door, number of new card signups, attendance at our library programs, number of items checked out, and the use of our meeting spaces, our study rooms, and technology. So, banner year. But instead of talking about numbers, I wanted to talk a little bit today about our library values, what grounds us and what motivates us to continue to serve our community and strengthen our community. So our mission is to create opportunities and build connections to strengthen our community, and our dedication to provide equal access to books, knowledge, and opportunities is often what drives people to the library. This work, as I mentioned, is rooted in our values. Visitors to the library can see the values prominently displayed in print form all over the libraries, but also hopefully they see those reflected in the type of service that they receive at the library, how they're treated, and what they are able to accomplish. So we have 6 library values that you will soon see presented, but I can also say them in words. So even during times of social and political division, our values guide and fortify our work. Our first value that I wanted to talk about is curiosity. And a lot of this explains how we are, the curiosity, the one that you were, that's okay. Curiosity, our library has significant responsibility to children and families to support early literacy skills and support school readiness. At the same time, library is a space for personal enrichment, discovery, and exploration at any age. This time of year, our thoughts in the library world are turning to summer reading programs. We call ours now Summer of Adventure. And last year we had the highest participation rate since COVID started. And we started a new initiative. We used to wait until the end of the program to give you your incentive of a free book. But now we give you a gift book at the beginning of the program to start seeding your home library and also to motivate you to read throughout the program. So that was a very successful new initiative. And we are thankful to the Library Trust and our Friends Group for donating the money to provide those additional prize books. Summer reading ends. We want kids to keep reading. So we also, last September, launched 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten, which is a new early literacy program full of fun and free activities and incentives to set kids on the path to early literacy success. And it's an easy way to get young children to read and learn by sharing 1,000 books before they get to kindergarten. And also wanted to mention we're still continuing strong with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, which is a shared initiative across Larimer County. I think I am now on this slide. Nope, one more, yes. Curiosity, promoting learning and literacy. I keep touching my screen and it's going away. The one right before this, slide 5, please. So curiosity and learning also extends to our adult population. 2024, we launched the Career Online High School program. Again, something that I know many of our other Larimer County libraries also offer. It's a free scholarship for a fully accredited online high school degree. And this is a picture of Sabina Newton, who was our first graduate. She got her high school diploma and her CNA nursing certificate. Again, a private donation supported this, and we currently have about 10 other program participants in the program and are excited to graduate another learner very soon. Moving to the next slide is our second value of a collaboration. Being here with you all is an example of collaboration and with our other Larimer County libraries. But we collaborate with community partners on projects across a wide range of social issues, from literacy to educational attainment, economic resurgence, health, and more, and deliver important services and resources throughout the community. We're grateful to collaborate with a number of social service organizations such as Homeward Alliance, Outreach Fort Collins, Larimer County Community Justice Alternatives, and Colorado State University. Our collective approach with partners supports greater coordination of services, simplifies access to local services, and improves opportunities for change. For example, the Homeward Alliance Resource Navigators connected individuals with government benefits like SNAP, Medicaid, or Lifeline phones, and also conduct resource assessments and enroll eligible individuals for other Murphy Center services. Next slide. This might be a little hard to read, but this is just a quote from one of our customers, one of the hundreds who show up each week at our library with a concentration at Old Town Library to work with service providers. Library is a safe place for individuals to meet with caseworkers or ask for help without fear that might be associated with a government building or harder to navigate to another location. One of our exciting new initiatives was working with CSU Occupational Therapy, and we provided 655 hours of service to community members through that partnership. Next in collaboration, this is our librarian, Amada Simontel. She earned 2 notable honors in 2024 for her work as an advisor with the SBDC, including the Consultant of the Year, and she was part of the team that won the 2024 Colorado District Director's Diamond Award for the Thrive Emerging Leaders Reimagined program. So we have a very active partnership with the Larimer County Small Business Development Center and have enjoyed a long and successful partnership helping budding entrepreneurs and business startups. Inclusion is our next value, and I am proud to be able to say that word out loud. The library has long had a value of inclusion, being a public library. That is a value that we are proud to continue and to be vocal and visible about it. It's more important than ever for Poudre libraries to serve as open, inclusive spaces for all members of our community. We work hard to create welcoming spaces where everyone belongs and people feel valued. So a couple of highlights. We've just distributed real-time translation devices to remove language barriers and ensure meaningful language dialogue access to library services and resources. So these 5, they look almost like an iPad, provide real-time translation between a staff person and a customer in more than 200 languages and dialects, and we're funded by donations from our Library Trust and Colorado Gives donations. So we also continue to provide community empowerment clinics in partnership with Isaac and Foreza Latina. It's resources that are available for immigrant and refugee communities. And also we hold space for celebrations and community building through this collaboration. Moving on to innovation. I don't know how many of you wander around Old Town, but we last year opened a pollinator garden adjacent to our Webster House Administrative Center. Some of you were there for the grand opening of that. But it was just a fun and interesting new way that we could extend space for community programs and make a difference in people's lives and support our pollinators. It's located on the southwest side of the administrative center, and it is named the Nectary. And we have a number of different native plant species and individual plants. And also in plant news, our Harmony Library has started a plant library where people can come and either bring clippings or little seedling baby plants, or pick up new plants to take home. They are not overdue, and we don't care if you ever bring them back. But it's just a fun way for people to come together. The library provides soil pot and care instructions, and we don't track and see if they're still alive either. You can come back and get a new one. And finally, our last value is accountability. And part of why I'm here today is to demonstrate, oh, did I forget intellectual freedom? I did. Let's go back to intellectual freedom. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Again, another core and foundational value, and so important right now. We are champions of democracy, and we not only do it quietly behind the scenes ordering books, but we do it loud and in a very visible way. We continued to have a wonderful celebration for Banned Book Weeks. This theme this past year was Freed Between the Lines, and we have a number of programs, displays, and reading challenges. And we also supported elections in this past year through voter services centers and polling centers and ballot box drop boxes, and also a partnership with the League of Women Voters. Now we'll go to accountability. And part of why I'm here is about accountability, to report to our elected officials the work that the library does and how we provide value to our community. And one of the big things that we've been doing is creating a strong foundation, not literally yet, for the new Southeast Community Center, but spending a lot of time in partnership with the city and creating an amazing new asset that will be just south of where our current Council Tree Library is. We are working really hard to make an amazing facility, and the combined resources of the city and the library district really are going to create something that is much better together than either of our entities would have been on their own. We've launched a website for it so you can keep up to date on what's going on. And we are ready to launch a pretty extensive community engagement process to make sure people are not just informed about what we're planning, but have a chance to describe to us, to the architects, what a welcoming, wonderful space for themselves and their family will look like. And I think, what's happening in 2025? I just talked a little bit about it. Going on. We are working on the Southeast Community Center engagement process. We're also working on a new strategic plan. I've now been here long enough. Our current a strategic plan is expiring at the end of the year. So we'll be out in the community gathering people's ideas, aspirations, hopes for our community, and weaving those into a new community plan, again, built on partnership and turning outward in our community. Continuing to work on improving the customer experience in our physical spaces that we have now, making sure they're bright, safe, and welcoming to all people in our community, and continuing to work for our library and for libraries everywhere, saying how important it is to have free and equal access to all to information, ideas, and experiences. And then my last slide says thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
Thanks. Yeah.
Any questions for Diane? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Diane, I want to say thank you, and thanks for bringing all the other wonderful leaders of other libraries throughout Larimer County. My first question is, with the Nectary, I was so glad to be there. I was glad to see that it's being used, and some other items. Are you promoting or actively trying to have pollinators there with some pollinator housing? I mean, there's the flowers, but are you trying to have, any kind of butterfly things or bees? I'm just curious about that.
I am not an expert in that. I know that all the planting and design of the garden was very deliberate to attract pollinators, but I don't know, maybe our marketing team is marketing the services to the pollinator community, butterflies.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, but we are doing programming there for human beings, including some yoga, journaling, and other programs for children.
Being a beekeeper myself, it's always nice to know there's other places going up. So anyway, the next item, I just wanted to thank you for sharing all the little items, and I really love the plant library idea, and love the quote from the young person, customer.
Yep.
That was especially well done. I'm just, if my colleagues don't mind, I'm just wondering if the rest of the librarians or leaders from the libraries wanted to come up and share one thing that, if Madam Chair, one thing from their library since they're here. Maybe I know they're here for the picture, but maybe they'd like to share one highlight from their year as well as that. Would that be something okay to ask?
Yeah, let's see if there are any other questions for Diane, and then we can move on to that. If that's fine with you.
And then, can I, after we ask those questions, may I make one comment at the end?
Sure. Do you have any other questions?
No,
for
those
Diane?
are the only ones I
Okay.
had. Thank you.
Commissioner Kafalis, please go ahead.
Is this the time for questions or comments?
It would be the time for comments and questions. And then we'll also have additional time after we read the proclamation as well.
I'll use my time at this moment.
Please do. Thank you.
First of all, thank you very much for the work. A lot of gratitude. Appreciate the libraries. Every time we do the National Library Week, I'm always tempted to sing the little jingle that I remember growing up in New York about libraries, but I will indeed spare you. I will, though, say thank you to everyone here. Of course, in particular, a bit of a connection that I have with one of my favorite libraries, the Red Feather Lakes Community Library, and thanks to Darlene and Creed and other folks up there. Every time I walk in there, and just to walk around, I don't check out books, but it just feels good to be inside that little community space. So that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Diane, one of the questions I want to ask you probably don't get a lot of federal funding since you're a library district. You get dollars that are from property tax. But do you get any federal funding, and do you feel like that any of that's in jeopardy at this point?
So I'll start with the jeopardy. Yeah, federal funding is going away. The Institute for Museum and Library Services has pretty much been decimated by the current administration, and all the funding that flows from that to support libraries across the United States is it's either gone or in jeopardy. We do not get direct funding, federal funding, but our state library does and is strongly supported. I think about 70% of their budget does come from the federal sources, and we do benefit a lot from our state library. They negotiate contracts for shared services. They support professional development. They help distribute the money that we do get from the state. So we will feel an impact, but not as nearly as devastating as many other libraries are. So next time you see any of your elected representatives in Washington, D.C., it is, it's hard to keep track of all the things that are happening right now. And don't want to have the Institute of Museum and Library Services get lost as other things are just evaporating. So, yeah.
And I just want to echo the thanks that John and Jody had mentioned. This is one of our last great public spaces that we have, libraries, and you do a lot of work that's not what wouldn't traditionally be known as library work. And when you were talking about some of the social services and some of the agencies that you partner with, it's really evident that people feel comfortable and at home there. And you have expanded your role as the community has asked for that expansion. And so I just want to thank you for just constantly reimagining what that public space will look like and welcoming everyone and having a space where, honestly, it seems like most people feel comfortable there because you have that messaging around, hate has no place here. And you see that right as you walk into the library. So just really grateful for all of you for providing that space for our communities. To me, that is, I love, I have my book earrings on. I love books. I'm at the library 2 or 3 times a week. It is a comfortable space for me too. But thank you for providing that for the whole community and for providing that non-judgmental space where people can learn and have open access to knowledge, which is also really important. So if anyone else from the other libraries would like to come up, no pressure, so you don't have to come up. We would love to hear from you, even just a statement or two, if you'd like to, and then we'll move on to the proclamation.
And then may I make my comment after the proclamation? Just have a quick comment and thanks.
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you.
Thank you, Commissioners, for this opportunity to speak. What I wanted to highlight is, again, a joint project throughout the Larimer County libraries. It's the Larimer County Digital Navigators, which is housed and administered from the Loveland Public Library. We are very proud that we have a digital navigator in almost every library in Larimer County, this year especially, and that we've also added places like Pulse down in Loveland, and we're also working with the broadband provider up in Estes Park as well. Just to give you an idea, last year, from all of the libraries and also the Front Range Community College, we had over 6,000 appointments of people learning how to navigate this new digital world. And it was everything from how to use my smartphone to I've just gotten a new job and I need to know how to use Excel. So I'm very proud of that. And again, we're ramping up and we have over 30 people waiting to be given digital devices, which we've been able to fund through grants from Comcast as well. And Pulse down in Loveland has provided us with LinkedIn Learning so that we can help individuals who are looking for better career advancements and training as well. You had asked, Councillor Stevens, you had asked about federal funding. This project is a joint project. It was started with the Colorado Department of Employment and Future Work and the Colorado Serves, which is the arm of the AmeriCorps. We are watching the funding for the National AmeriCorps for 2026 at this time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. So job training also at the library. We're just going to hear just a litany of things that the library does everything. Keep going.
So I'm Amy Pilla, and I run the Berthoud Community Library District. If you have been in the Berthoud Library, you know that we're in a building approximately 3 sizes too small for the community that we are serving. So we have to be really creative in terms of what we do. That doesn't mean that people don't come in. So like with the Poudre libraries, our door count is up, our checkouts are up, our programming attendance is up year over year. So it's very exciting. We just have to add more at different times, and really for us lean heavily on digital materials. So ebooks and e-audiobooks, especially because they don't take up shelf space that we don't have. So we have done a lot for kids over the years, and I think there are a lot of people who hear library and think, oh, that's for the kids. This past year, we did our first, we're calling it optimistically, first annual Berthoud Literary Festival, where we brought in over a dozen authors over the course of a weekend to do workshops and speakers and things like that. So, second one is coming up the third weekend in September, if you would like to join us.
Thank you.
I'm Darlene Kilpatrick, and I'm with the Red Feather Lakes Library, and John's there quite a bit. And we also have a divisional navigator with Loveland. So that's what's so nice about libraries is this banding together and helping little tiny libraries like us, because we look like a house, basically. I mean, we're tiny. And so we also struggle with space. And I also am the director of the North Forty Mountain Alliance, and so we have a food pantry, and we feed people once a week. So we have anywhere from 70 to 120 families, and like we have Easter coming up. So we're always trying to work with the food bank. They're a huge supporter in Bendikit and other sources. Like everybody, funding is tight. I'm not sure how much longer we can go, but we're going to do all we can, because to me, being able to feed people, if you don't have that, it doesn't matter what else you offer. And so, and also we're it in our area. There is no other buildings, public space. We don't have a town hall. We don't have anything else. The volunteer firefighters course is a big part. We work with everybody. We're so tiny. So we have to, that's the beauty of being small, is that we work together. We work with the schools and anybody we can. And so we're always grateful for the people that step up and help us out. And we also, with the Office on Aging, we have privacy pods now. So that was really neat. People have a place that they can go, and we're starting telehealth. So, because that's a push for us, for people to come down to the area for doctors. A lot of times people will not come up to our area. So trying to make medical care more accessible is vital. And so we're really working on that. So, yeah, we're just working and the best we can to keep everything going and to give as many services as we can, and make it somewhere it's a place where people can live and afford to be and be supported.
Thank you. Okay, Wellington is up.
I will try to be brief because your agenda is quite long. I think I am the baby of the group still, hopefully. I grew up in Fort Collins.
Can you introduce yourself too?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I'm Ross Lajeunesse, and I'm the Wellington Public Library Director. I have been for about 4 years. I think Diane and I have known each other for about 30 years. She is my hero. We are a rural library. We do all the things. I believe we're still the loudest library. We have a no shush policy. We do have a huge population of kids. But I look at what Poudre Libraries is doing and try to replicate. We have really expanded our connections to Larimer County Services, Health and Human Services, as a rural library. It's very, very important to support your rural libraries as well. Not trying to, compete. But we do all the things on a small bandwidth, and we love doing it. Each day I come in, I'm like, what can we create today? So please support your libraries, all of you. Come in. If you want a loud space, come into Wellington Public Library. All of our numbers are also up this year, so I'd like to invite everybody in Fort Collins, come out and see our library. Come hang out if you want some noise.
Wonderful. Well,
thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. Thank you, librarians. We really appreciate you. Commissioner Shannock McNally, do you want to make your comments now, and then we'll go into the proclamation?
I would. Okay. That's exactly what I was hoping to say. I have been in every single library that you all have talked about, as you know, and I was at the Digital Navigators kickoff. Thank you, Amy, for inviting me and giving a chance to speak at that. And Amy, we've done mental health, suicide awareness, prevention training in that library as well. So I just want to thank you all for being here today. To me, you guys are the unsung heroes of our community. Libraries are so important. If you think about, one of my most fondest childhood memories is sitting in this sunken old-fashioned tub in Longmont Library with a bunch of pillows with my book hiding from the rest of the people, and I felt so safe and so happy because I got all the books I wanted, and I'm just waiting for my parents to check out their books, and I felt safe and loved and accepted and so happy that I had a bunch of books. So it's one of my favorite childhood memories. Libraries store the energy that fuels the imagination, but they also open up windows to the world, and they inspire all of us to achieve and to contribute to our community, which improves our quality of life. And you all shared things that you do that help promote and protect that quality of life, whether it's job skills or trainings, or I think there's one that you can check out. I think it's Estes. You can check out. Yeah, the Library of Things. So you can check out things that you may not have, and I've just talked to some residents who were so proud of that. So it's not just about books, but it's also about inspiring and taking care of and providing resources to the community in so many ways, including plants. I mean, I would be so happy if I walked in there every week and came out with another baby plant to take home and take care of. I just want to say thank you for being here. Thanks for the things that you do, and the things that you do to give people a place to go for hope and inspiration and for caring and acceptance. And if you think about it, what's the one building that most people in their community know where it's at? It's the library. So you guys are instrumental, foundational, and a pillar of the community. And I'm so glad to be here. And I'm a super fan as well. I just tend to fall asleep anymore reading my books because I just don't give myself enough time to read. So I have about 5 stacked by my bed. But I just wanted to say thank you all for being here. And please know we value you. I think you're unsung heroes. And we're just so glad to be able to recognize you all today and to celebrate National Library Week. So thank you for being here. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to take chair's prerogative and read this proclamation, since my fellow commissioners will have 2 each to read after this. So we're proclaiming National Library. So this is a proclamation declaring April 6th through 12th, 2025 as National Library Week. Whereas libraries spark creativity, fuel imagination, and inspire lifelong learning, offering a space where individuals of all ages can explore new ideas and be drawn to new possibilities. And whereas libraries like Berthoud Community Library, Estes Valley Library, Loveland Public Library, Poudre Libraries, Red Feather Lakes Community Library, and Wellington Public Libraries serve as vibrant community hubs. And whereas libraries provide free and equitable access to books, digital tools, and innovative programming, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, have the support they need to learn, connect, and thrive. And whereas libraries partner with schools, businesses, and organizations, connecting the dots to maximize resources, increase efficiency, and expand access to essential services, strengthening the entire community. And whereas libraries empower job seekers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners by providing access to resources, training, and opportunities that support career growth and economic success. And whereas libraries nurture young minds through story times, STEM programs, and literacy initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning that lasts a lifetime. And whereas libraries protect the right to read, think, and explore without censorship, standing as champions of intellectual freedom and free expression. And whereas dedicated librarians and library workers provide welcoming spaces that inspire discovery, collaboration, and creativity for all. Whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers across Larimer County are joining together to celebrate National Library Week under the theme, Drawn to the Library. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners proclaim April 6th through 12th, 2025 as National Library Week. I encourage all residents to visit their local library, explore its resources, and celebrate all the ways that the library draws us together as a community. And so, Commissioner Shattuck McNally, will you make the motion on that one?
Certainly, Madam Chair. I move to approve the proclamation declaring April 6th through April 12th, 2025 as National Library Week.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Yes, go ahead, Commissioner. Maybe he's going to sing his song. I think everybody would like to hear it. It's so fun.
Actually, I was going to say that in appreciation for the sheriff and his team for keeping an eye on things. If time allows, at the end of the meeting, I'm happy to sing the jingle to the sheriff.
You hear it, heard it here, folks. It's an exclusive one-on-one song opportunity. So,
But mindful of the other four proclamations, just I'm glad that Darlene mentioned about the telehealth work that's happening out of the library. And actually, the library up there is really critical in terms of helping older folks age in place and with some level of dignity. So that's really important. I appreciate the comments from Wellington Community Library. It's co-located with the Leaper Center, and there's a lot of good activity. And then I don't know if it was already mentioned, but the library also provides a wonderful meeting or community space for all kinds of non-political community meetings. So I think that's an important resource. Thank you.
thank you. Libraries do it all, so we're grateful. Thank you. So there's a motion on the table, and we've had further discussion. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. We're going to pause for a photograph. We are back, and we have another proclamation. This time is a proclamation for National Public Health Week in Larimer County, and our Public Health Director, Tom Gonzalez, is here, along with a team of folks to introduce this item. Welcome, Tom.
Well, thank you, and good morning, everyone. Tom Gonzalez, Public Health Director. I do have several of our staff at Public Health in the audience today, and here to make a few comments with me is our Senior Population Epidemiologist, Dr. Jared Olson, our Health Equity Initiatives Coordinator, Devonte Tobe, and our Deputy Public Health Director, Andrea Clement Johnson. Exciting week. The Larimer County Department of Health and Environment is celebrating National Public Health Week, which is this week, April 7th through the 11th. This year, our team is rallying around the American Public Health Association's theme. It starts here. Your health is our mission. You know, public health is considered the invisible shield because over the past 150 plus years, public health policies and endeavors have extended life expectancy over 35 years. We not only work to make sure our food and water are safe to eat and drink and that people are protected from the outbreaks and emergencies. We also foster partnerships in our communities to address what we call the social influences of health. Our public health system is made up of multiple partners and multiple groups, including the library district, each serving an essential role to provide protection and inclusion in our community. We know that we're all interconnected, and we know that when we bring our community and partnership together, we can improve health outcomes for everyone, and that's key, everyone. A strong and resilient public health workforce is essential for healthy communities and vibrant communities that are addressing health challenges. Our dedicated staff at the health department leads the way to a healthier Larimer County, and we appreciate your recognition of National Public Health Week. I'm going to turn it over to Devontae Tobe to talk a little bit about our health equity initiatives. Devontae?
Good morning. My name is Devontae Tobe. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm the Health Equity Initiatives Coordinator for the Health Department. Health equity ensures everyone has the right resources to meet their unique needs. By tailoring our services accordingly, we create better health outcomes for all. Addressing health equity means acknowledging and working to eliminate obstacles like poverty and discrimination, which significantly impact community health. Larimer County Department of Health and Environment convenes community partners, especially those representing marginalized communities, to collaboratively address health issues and works to center the voices and experiences of underrepresented communities in our decision-making process.
Good morning. My name is Jared Olson. I'm the Senior Population Epidemiologist at the Health Department. I just wanted to take this opportunity to highlight a couple of successes within public health. So public health is often the accumulation of these small successes that make a big difference in everyday lives. So back on February 11th, 1968, the Board of County Commissioners established the Larimer County Department of Public Health and Environment. And in that year, we had 263 deaths per 100,000 children in Larimer County. Since then, childhood immunizations, like protecting against common diseases or previously common diseases like measles, polio, meningitis, pneumonia, diarrheal diseases, have protected kids. In addition, we have pre- and postnatal nutrition programs, including folic acid for improved birth outcomes, back to sleep recommendations, which have cut sudden unexpected infant death, seatbelts, helmets, car seats protecting young children, pool rules that are preventing drowning, safe food and water that are keeping kids from getting sick, and and the removal of brain toxic lead from everyday products and homes. Children are safer now in Larimer County than they have ever been before in human history, and as a result of some of these actions, we have an 80% reduction in deaths in children under the age of 10. In addition to these resetting the expectations for what a healthy childhood can be, the public health system, which is a collaboration of state and local resources, plays a critical role in preventing disease outbreaks and keeping disease burdens in check and responding to emerging threats. Can we go to the next one? Thank you. So last year there was a congenital syphilis issue within the state of Colorado. We saw small but rapidly growing numbers of these cases. Public health at the state level stepped in to ensure that every pregnant woman would be able to receive testing. And locally, our small public health clinics diagnosed and treated 17% of all the syphilis cases in the county, way beyond and above their typical caseload. In 2024, they did treat even greater number of cases. And syphilis is just one of those examples of a type of rapidly emerging threat. that, if not addressed relatively quickly, can spiral with additional costs and greater harms. And then finally, I just want to highlight the Colorado Family Planning Initiative. So these are kind of the large-scale public health programs that make a real difference across the life course. So in 2007, our teen birth rate in Larimer County was 21 per 1,000 teens. But by 2020, that rate had dropped 3/4 and is now more around 5 per 1,000 teenage females. The Colorado Family Planning Initiative offered equitable access to free birth control, dramatically reducing teen pregnancies and abortions, and improved outcomes for moms and babies. It increased the opportunities for tens of thousands of girls and women across the state to pursue economic and educational opportunities on their own terms.
Thanks so much. Andrea Clement Johnson, I'm the Deputy Public Health Director at the Health Department. I wanted to highlight a couple of the photos that we have up here. This is some of the activities that we have been participating so far early into our celebration this week. The photo on the left over here, or on the depending on which way you're looking at it, is our group walk yesterday, and Commissioner Kofalis joined us for that walk early yesterday morning. It was a beautiful day, and we had a great time. And then over on the other side is a picture of our horsetooth cleanup efforts yesterday, for which we're also doing later this week as well. Through the daily activities during Public Health Week, employee recognitions and team building activities, including these shared wellness activities and group walks and challenges, volunteering and partnering with our academic health partners over at CSU, we really hope to recognize and uplift our local public health workforce and the crucial work that they do. And I just want to acknowledge May Aguilar, who is sitting here. May, if you would stand up. She is our culture and engagement specialist and has been the person who is the glue holding all of these great activities together this week, and has really been doing a great job to make sure that we can celebrate this and all the important work we do. As Devontae shared, our public health workforce focuses on helping all people in the community have access to healthy choices and a healthy environment, and our staff are committed to this focus every day. Our annual Public Health Week is meant to celebrate our entire public health workforce and system, from those protecting air and water to those who are supporting mental health and connection with youth or people throughout our community, to those protecting our community from outbreaks and emergencies, and everyone working in an important role across our department. So we celebrate all our public health staff working to ensure that we have a thriving and protected community. And I'll turn it back over to Tom.
And also want to give a big thank you to the Larimer County Board of Health. It was February 11th, 1968 that the Board of County Commissioners established an organized health department with a separate entity called the Larimer County Board of Health, which I report to as the Public Health Director. Now, that doesn't mean we started public health in 1968. We actually have records going back in the 20s and 30s where we had sanitarians and public health nurses out making sure our food and water was safe, and that we were learning about the germ theory and starting vaccinations. So we've been doing this much longer, but it's been 57 years that we've had the Larimer County Board of Health, which it does a lot to give us wise counsel and make sure we're looking at everything when it comes to our county. And then a big thank you to our dedicated staff of nearly 100 public health professionals. I told him yesterday that these are trying times, there's uncertainty, but for goodness sakes, we are going to continue the good work. And inclusion and health equity is the centerpiece of what we do. We know that when people are left out, when they're not included, they're not part of the conversation, that their health degrades. We know that social isolation leads to poor health outcomes. Our Surgeon General indicated it's like smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So when we have partners like the Library District and others in our community doing great work to bring people together, to celebrate our differences and celebrate what we all are, and that's our health, we know we can have a thriving Larimer County. So thank you to the staff that every day make that their number one priority. With that, I'll turn it over to any questions you may have.
Any questions for the Health Department Director? No. It sounds like you're doing everything right. I guess I would have a question around, you talked a little bit about challenges that you have right now. What do you think are the biggest challenges, and how can we overcome those so we make sure our community's healthy and that we have that health equity that you're talking about?
Yeah, Commissioner, I appreciate the question. I think right now there's two challenges: misinformation regarding the science and the work around science, and we want to make sure that we're all together listening to the ideas and thoughts in the misinformation, making sure we're getting the correct information out, and that we're listening to everyone's thoughts and their feedback, because we know that there's vaccines prevent childhood diseases such as measles. As we know, we have an uptick in measles not only in our nation but worldwide, and that's due to lower vaccination rates. So we want to make sure we're having those conversations. I think secondly is funding. Public health is always challenged when it comes to funding. We need to be more creative and innovative, which we will be doing. Continuous quality improvement is always the key to our mission, but we rely on about just under $2 million of our $13 million budget from federal funding to do the work that we're doing. So we want to make sure that we are advocating for that work, because that work is usually directed to the most marginalized and most underserved in our community. So we do not want that to be lost. I think those are our two biggest challenges.
Thank you. Any other questions before we go on with the proclamation? Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
I didn't know when you want us to make our comments, or do you want to make it after the proclamation read? Or
We
now?
can make them after the proclamation. So, Commissioner Kofalis, I would ask you to read the proclamation and make the motion, and then we can make some comments. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, colleagues. Joint proclamation, Board of Larimer County Commissioners, State of Colorado, and the Larimer County Board of Health, a joint proclamation designating April 7th through the 13th, 2025 as National Public Health Week, whereas communities across the nation observe National Public Health Week during the first full week of April each year. They use this time to honor the contributions of public health, emphasize critical issues for improving the nation's health, and promote awareness and prevention. And whereas the theme for National Public Health Week 2025 is "It Starts Here. Your health is our mission." And whereas public health isn't just for a single person, it is for everyone in our communities. Public health affects how we all live, work, and play, and it is an invisible force that protects our safety and well-being. Whereas public health efforts have increased the average American lifespan by 35 years over the last 150 years, it's good to know. And whereas by addressing the root causes of health inequities, such as discrimination, unequal access to care, and barriers faced by individuals with disabilities, communities can reduce preventable diseases and improve overall well-being, foster healthier populations, reduce healthcare costs, and build more resilient societies. And whereas having safe places to live, safe ways for everyone to be active, and easy access to fresh, affordable, nutritious, and culturally appropriate food ensures equitable opportunities to healthy living and excellent health outcomes. And whereas a strong and resilient public health workforce is key to keeping communities healthy and addressing the nation's most urgent health challenges, as public health professionals work hard to prevent disease, promote wellness, and protect communities. And whereas public health continues to prioritize health at every level, ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to thrive. And whereas the Larimer County Board of Health and the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County each support the Department of Health and Environment's mission, working to provide everyone in Larimer County the opportunity for a healthy life. And whereas the vision of Larimer County Department of Health and Environment is that Larimer County is a thriving health-aware community where everyone has access to healthy choices and a healthy environment. And whereas Larimer County Department of Health and Environment convenes community partners, especially those representing marginalized populations, to collaboratively address health issues. And whereas Larimer County Department of Health and Environment works to center the voices and experiences of underrepresented communities in our decision-making process. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, the Larimer County Board of Health, and the Larimer County Department of Health and Environment encourage everyone, including students, elected leaders, civic leaders, and residents, to help to step in and do what they can to make our county a more equitable, safe, healthy, connected, and inclusive place. And whereas the Larimer County Board of Health and the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County both support the activities of the Larimer County Department of Health and Environment as it strives for a healthier future for Larimer County residents. Now, therefore, be it jointly proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, Colorado, and the Larimer County Board of Health that the week of April 7th through the 13th, 2025 is recognized as National Public Health Week 2025 in Larimer County, Colorado, and Larimer County Department of Health and Environment is encouraged to support activities in the county to promote National Public Health Week 2025, done this 8th day of April 2025 in Fort Collins, Colorado by the board, etc. Done this 20th day. This was discussed at the 20th March 2025 Board of Health meeting. I think that's good enough. I'll offer the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And thank you all. I move to approve the proclamation declaring April 7th through the 13th, 2025 as National Public Health Week.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Would you like to make some comments?
I just want to make some quick comments. First, thank you all for being here today, and thanks for sharing all the great news. I really appreciate your presentation and your comments about health equity. It's so important in our community, and through all the joint work that Dr. Olson and Director Gonzalez and Andrea, you all have done with whether we're talking about suicide prevention or suicide fatality or the work we're doing all together with regional opioid abatement, we're really trying to make sure everyone has a chance for health and a long life, healthy life, because the first wealth is health. And if we don't have that, if it was just my broken arm, I can tell you it was a really painful reminder of how fortunate we are sometimes to have all of our limbs and stuff functioning fully. And so I think it was good for me to think about that the last few weeks. I also want to just thank you for your partnership across sectors and agencies. And I know you're even partnering with other health departments. So right now, nationally, we have a lot of uncertainty and some very alarming things with the measles outbreaks and other items. And I just want to thank you for your dedication and focus on taking care of our vulnerable members of our community and making sure people have access and education to understand how important it is for a lot of these public health issues. I just think it's really important for us to know that the health department does so many things that is not really always visible, including our air quality measures, the things we do with mow-down and the air quality monitoring with the blowout that happened yesterday and people having to evacuate their homes. I know your health department was instrumental with helping get some information or trying to coordinate to help our neighbors. And I've gotten some reports about how helpful and open and educational your staff were, Director. And so I just think it's important to understand the depth and breadth of the work that you all do, and it's so valued and so important, and you continue to be really important for the continued thriving and health and welfare of our community. And I want to just thank you all for being here today and the works that you do every day on a daily basis, which sometimes is not recognized and goes not visible, but thank you for all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Cavalas, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. to use a bit of a metaphor, just continue the stream of gratitude that I think has been expressed this morning and will continue to be expressed for all the hard work. It was very nice, actually, to walk with um, a small group of the just under 100 hardworking, dedicated public health professionals. It was really nice to connect with folks in a way that normally we can't connect because we're always so busy with meetings and reading things to get ready for meetings and then thinking about the meetings. So it was good to be outside. It helped me to feel a little bit, sometimes in this job, it's easy to feel a bit isolated, and that's been referenced, especially when you get older, the isolation thing. And being outside is good for one's physical health. Being outside is good for one's emotional health. So I appreciate helping me to start this week in a good way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, thank you all for being here, and thank you for the work that you do on a daily basis. So important. Those statistics around childhood deaths, children under 10, the deaths going down 80% since 1968 is really remarkable, and it's due to many things, but vaccinations work. And combating misinformation is really important. So we need to take care of each other and our families, and we need to make sure that people have the education they need to make good health decisions. And I just appreciate that. I know that the environment can often be not as smooth and receptive as we want it to be, and yet I just really appreciate you kind of pushing on and doing this very, very important work. So we're happy to celebrate both Health Week and all of you this week. Thank you. There is a motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
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 That motion passes 3-0. We'll stop for a photo. Thank you. All right, we are back for our next proclamation, which is a proclamation for National Crime Victims' Rights Week, which is April 6th through 12th. And let's see, Emily Humphrey, oh, she's right there, is here to kick this one off. And the someone you've all been waiting for, our four-legged friend that will also be, who's been patiently waiting for this proclamation. So we'll have you kick it off. Thank you, Emily, for being here.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Again, my name is Emily Humphrey, and I'm the Director of Community Justice Alternatives. And today I am truly honored to be here for the proclamation declaring April 6th through the 12th as National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Since its inception in 1981, National Crime Victims' Rights Week has been a powerful reminder for our nation and our state to confront and eliminate the barriers that hinder justice for all victims of crime. During this week, we take time to reflect on the progress of the victims' rights movement and recognize the strides we've made while acknowledging how much further we must go. This year's theme, kinship, is a call to action, that underscores the importance of shared humanity in our collective efforts to support all survivors of victims of crime. Kinship is a state of solidarity with survivors that drive essential connections to services, rights, and healing. It is in kinship where victim advocacy begins. Today, I am truly grateful to be in the presence of so many incredible individuals who stand by victims of crime through their most challenging moments. It is with great respect that I recognize the following agencies that play a vital role in the mission. First, Larimer County Community Justice Alternatives, Larimer County District Attorney's Office, the 8th Judicial Probation Department, Larimer County Sheriff's Office, Loveland Police Department, Fort Collins Police Services, Child Safe, Crossroads Safe House, Alternatives to Violence, Colorado State University Women and Gender Advocacy Center, SAVA, the Crawford Child Advocacy Center, Rocky Mountain Victim Law Center, and all other incredible community members that support victims of crime. As I prepared these remarks today, I found myself reflecting on a powerful example of the importance of victim advocacy and its critical role in supporting victims thrust into the justice system they never chose to be a part of, a system that is not always victim-friendly or victim-centered. 20 years ago, I'm kind of dating myself here, but 20 years ago, I had the privilege of supporting two young sisters, aged 5 and 6, through their courage and journey in the justice system. These two courageous girls found their voice in a system that often feels overwhelming, and they did so with the unwavering support of many caring individuals. The day after the trial concluded, the 5-year-old went to school and during show and tell proudly declared to her class that she was no longer a victim, but a survivor. That moment has stayed with me forever. As I reflect on her courage and her openness, I find myself wondering how these two young girls navigated the system. Their journey was not traveled alone. They had loving parents and a supportive grandmother who believed in their every step of the way. They had law enforcement officers and victim advocates standing by them. They received comfort and care from the staff at the Child Advocacy Center, the therapists and teams at Child Safe, and the dedicated attorneys, investigators, and advocates at the District Attorney's Office. They were supported by a kind judge who made them feel safe and empowered to testify in front of a jury of strangers. And even after the trial, they continued to receive vital support from the Department of Corrections and Community Corrections advocates, ensuring the family was informed at every critical stage of the perpetrator's sentence and eventual return to the community. Some say it takes a village to raise a child. I believe it also takes a village to help a victim navigate their journey through the justice system. I want to express my deepest gratitude to the village I see before me today. Thank you for giving the victims a voice, helping them reclaim what was taken from them, and for empowering them to become survivors. This is an extraordinary week to honor victims of crime and those who work tirelessly to ensure that victims are heard, supported, and given the opportunity to heal. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Will anyone else be speaking? No. Okay.
I just wanted them up here.
No, we're glad.
Their week, not mine.
Yeah, no, we're glad to have you up there. Any questions for Emily or anyone before we go on to the proclamation?
Do you want our comments now or
We'll just do them.
I'm just trying to.
No, I get it. I get it.
Different
I think we'll just stick with the pattern of doing the proclamation and the motion and then the comments before we take the vote, if that's fine. Okay. So Commissioner Shattuck McNally, I would ask you to read the proclamation and do the motion.
Thank you. Any day I get to see Zion, it's a good day. So, and I wanted to thank you all for being here today. I know some of you, this is very personal, and I'm going to try not to get emotional today because I actually am helping a friend who was just recently a victim of violent crime. So I'm reading this for them as well. So I'm going to take a moment and take a deep breath. Proclamation for National Crime Victims' Rights Week, April 6th through April 12th, 2025. Whereas the 2025 National Crime Victims' Rights Week theme of kinship is a call to action to recognize that shared humanity may be at the center of supporting all survivors and victims of crime. Whereas crime affects individuals, families, and communities in profound and varied ways, often leaving lasting physical, emotional, and social challenges. Whereas the concept of kinship underscores the connections that build bridges to support services and shared strength among survivors, advocates, and communities. Whereas kinship is the foundation of victim advocacy inspiring trauma-informed care that meets survivors where they are. Whereas through kinship, we build peer networks and community alliances that empower survivors, foster resilience, and offer pathways to healing. Whereas kinship reminds us of the strength that comes from connection, the importance to listening to every voice, and the power we have to create lasting change when we work together. Whereas kinship is a state of being with survivors that drives vital connections and increases access to service, rights, and healing. Whereas kinship is where victim advocacy begins. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Larimer hereby proclaims the week of April 6th through April 12th, 2025 as Crime Victims Rights Week. This proclamation is a powerful and heartfelt statement reaffirming our dedication to building connections, standing in kinship with survivors, and creating a future where healing and hope are within reach for everyone. We acknowledge that not just the importance of Crime Victims' Rights Week, but our ongoing commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all crime victims throughout the entire year. We also take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for those community members, victim service providers, and criminal justice professionals dedicated to enhancing our response to crime victims, ensuring they receive the assistance, support, respect, and the dignity that they deserve. Dated this day by the Board of County Commissioners, Larimer County, Colorado. This date, April. Is it April? What are we today? April 8th, 2025. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'll make the motion and make my comments if that would be okay, Madam
That
Chair.
would be fun. Thank you.
I move to approve the proclamation declaring April 6th through April 12th, 2025 as National Crime Victims' Rights Week. And I'll just make my comments. Kinship, that's why I'm a little rattled, because that's what's happening that I'm seeing right now is the kinship between women supporting other women, supporting victims of crime, people in the community stepping up to make sure people are being taken care of and have the support they need. And I also see this long term in the community with a lot of the things that you all do on a daily basis that we, again, unsung heroes, things that we don't see. And I want to thank the District Attorney, Gordon McLaughlin, who's here in the audience today. Since you took office, sir, you have increased victim services and the website and making sure people have the access to the resources they need. And I know you were a champion for this wonderful handler, Zion's mom. It's so important to have that. And Zion, you're going to get a pet here in a minute, I promise. But really, I want to this hits really home today because victims don't ask to be, as you said, Emily, they don't ask to be where they're at. They're kind of thrust into it. And they certainly need all the love and support and feel valued and seen and heard. And I think that is the one thing about our country and our communities that is just as we talk about going to a more perfect union, we're also trying to be going towards perfection, because there's perfection in when we stop and help others. Perfection in our communities to show that we care, and that was what our community is about, is taking care of each other. And so the only thing that we can do that has any lasting meaning in our community is to be there and help others. And that's why we're here, to make each other feel safe, loved, valued, and heard, and that we matter. So this is really special today, and I thank you all for the work that you do. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kafalis, would you like to say a few words? Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. No surprise that I'm going to say thanks again. Two comments I wish to make. One is that there was a reference to one of the sister organizations, SAVA, Sexual Assault Victim Advocate Center. On Thursday, they had their, I guess they call it their summit, and they had two amazing speakers, and one of them was Angela Pavliatis and Andrea Munford. These are the two women who basically built the case that brought down Larry Nasser, and it was an amazing presentation. At the time, she was the Assistant Attorney General, she was the lead prosecutor, and Angela Munford was the Deputy Chief, I believe, of Police at Michigan State University. And it was just a very powerful presentation. And they had footage. And I mean, in the end, I think it was more than 500 survivors came forward and shared their stories. And ultimately, this person was put in prison, I believe, for the rest of his life. So that I wanted to share that. And also, I don't know if Emily or wish to further acknowledge that our DA is here, Gordon McLaughlin, but there's a whole bunch of events this week to recognize the National Victim Rights Week. I know there's one tonight, and maybe somebody will have a chance to speak to that a little bit, to share that with the public. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Did anyone want to share what's happening?
Hi, Commissioners. So we do have an event on Wednesday at the Lincoln Center. It is at 5:30. It will start with the agency showcase where all of the, a lot of the agencies that Emily mentioned earlier will be there talking about their services being available. And then we will have our keynote speaker event. It is going to be the family of Nasir Graham, who is coming to speak. He was tragically killed through violence, and his family is going to come and speak and talk about what connections help them get through such a tragic event. So like you said, victims, they don't choose to be in this situation. Victimization touches all of us, and this is an opportunity really to have that moment of honoring victims, but also the victim services providers that are here. We had a resource event on Friday. It was very cold, but we had some members of our victim services community there offering information and resources about the services in our community, which was another great event. We're also wearing ribbons each day of the week to recognize a different type of crime victim, and many of the agencies across our community are doing that to recognize those. So I hope that people can attend the event on Wednesday. I think it's going to be a great event. It's our third event at the Lincoln Center, and it just keeps getting better. So hope to see some of you there.
Thank you. Commissioner Kafalis, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just real quick, I appreciate, I was thinking tomorrow night, so thank you for clarifying that. And I just want to say one more thing really quick, and that is, earlier in this morning's meeting, there was some exchange, and it's a little bit traumatic for some of us who take a lot of that to heart. And I appreciate being able to connect with Zion. I'm not sure what his title is these days, emotional support dog, but it actually was very helpful to pet him. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll ask the County Manager, Lorenda Volkosh. Sorry, I haven't allowed you to speak on any of these, but if you have any words that you want to share.
I guess I'll just say that you see folks at their hardest moments of their lives, and you support them in ways that are so important. You educate them about their rights, you make sure the community is aware, and you turn them into survivors. And so it's great to recognize that work and to recognize the laws that are in place to protect them and the work that you do. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just add my thanks. Thanks for the work that you do. It's really important that we have that compassion for people who've been victims of crimes, and so I appreciate all the resources that you provide for folks, and just that warm and friendly face as people are struggling with that, and then just encourage people to take advantage of the resources that are out there. Somehow you always get a really cold day for those resources. I don't know, those are the perils of having the Crime Victims Week in early April. But anyway, thank you again for your work, and we just really appreciate you being here, and we're happy to honor you today. So, with that, we do have a motion on the table. It's been there for a while, but we will vote on that now. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. We'll stop for a photo. Thank you. Well, we are back and we have another proclamation. This time, our proclamation declares National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. And we have Christine Stringer from the Larimer County Sheriff's Office, do we?
Christine. She would not like that. My name is Dion Sund. I'm the Technical Communications Director at the Sheriff's Office. I oversee both dispatch and records. So Christine is the lovely comms manager that is so nicely back here, and I'll embarrass her here in a minute.
Okay.
So first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to honor National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, observed this year from April 13th to the 19th. This is a time to recognize the critical work of our emergency communications professionals, those who serve as a vital link between the public and our first responders. These behind-the-scenes professionals are calm in crisis, steady under pressure, and highly trained in managing emergencies from the first call to resolution. They are truly the first of first responders, providing life-saving instructions, relaying urgent information, coordinating resources, and ensuring both safety of the community as well as our public safety personnel. At the Larimer County Communication Center, we support, obviously, Larimer County Sheriff's Office, including our Wellington and our Berthoud contract towns. Timoth Police Department, After Hours Animal Control. We also have 8 rural and mountain volunteer fire departments that we dispatch for, including Risk Canyon, Red Feather, and Glacier View. And then lastly, we also have all of the rollover 911s from our local partners, Fort Collins, Loveland, Estes Park, as well as Jackson County. So is our good partnership. So our team answers emergency and non-emergency 911 or emergency calls, text to 911, and call box activations across the county. But that's just the beginning. Dispatch also is responsible for alerting law enforcement and fire personnel of potential dangers, prioritizing and routing emergency resources based on urgency and availability, maintains continuous radio contact with units in the field, conducts regular status checks to ensure deputy safety, coordinates interagency responses for incidents including fire, medical, law enforcement, or all three. They also provide logistics support for large-scale incidents or multi-day operations. They are the problem solvers, the crisis managers, and the compassionate listeners, and they do this 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Their ability to triage calls and deploy the appropriate resources, whether it's law enforcement, fire, EMS, or search and rescue, can mean the difference between life and death. In 2024, our Emergency Communication Center received just over 9,600 911 calls, 88,000 administrative calls, nearly 24,000 dispatch calls for both LCSO, Timoth, or volunteer fire departments and our emergency services. And then there's been over 40,000 officer-initiated calls, which a lot of those are going to be loose traffic, which we know are a little bit higher priority potentially. So rather than just kind of throwing us some different numbers out, I want to highlight some of the real-world examples from the last year that demonstrate the commitment, quick thinking, and technical expertise in action. Beyond the numbers, it's the stories that truly show the heart and heroism behind that headset. So just here as of last month, a dispatcher remained on the phone for over 20 minutes giving CPR instructions, because we do have our lovely volunteer fire departments. So our medical calls tend to be a little further in distance in responding. So she calmly gave CPR instruction for repeatedly until medical resources got there. She actually just received an exemplary medical score because all of our medical calls are scored. So she was the first one that's received that. So very big kudos to her. In 2 different incidents back in August, one on the 12th and one on the 21st, we had dispatch supporting deputies they were both in solo pursuits. One was a canine and then another one in a foot pursuit. And our dispatchers were able to live stream their body cams and provide updates to responding units. And we were able to get some medical staff or medical response proactively for those responses. So also, Alexander Mountain Fire was last year. So for 11 days, they helped coordinate radio traffic and responders and fielded calls. The first couple hours of that is a mass pour of the event, but then also everyone decided to call in and give their support and ask for resources. So huge outcry from the community, but fielded a lot of phone calls into dispatch. We had the Storm Mountain plane crash back in November of this last year. Dispatches from both Larimer County as well as Loveland worked together on kind of a cross-functional response team on that. And I think if you guys remember from that one, the dispatcher stayed on the line with the sole survivor of that plane crash for the duration while we were getting up there. So again, really, really cool cross collaboration. And then back in May, as the nice weather comes out, emergency services starts to pick up. And so the dispatch was responding quickly for an empty raft that was called in. So unfortunately, that one did not end well, but dispatch was the one coordinating a lot of those initial responses. And then we, back in April, we kind of, not only is that cross-agency work amongst Larimer County, but we also do that against state lines. So we collaborate a lot with Wyoming. Back in April of last year, we actually coordinated with a response for a homicide victim coming out of South Dakota that came through Wyoming that we coordinated efforts with on that one. And then any major accidents, Berthoud is definitely known for their accidents down there. And so when there's anything major, especially trucks, motorcycles, this time of year, those generate a lot of calls that come into dispatch as well. And they are able to coordinate all of those resources, law, fire, EMS. So those are just a couple highlights of just some of the backgrounds. These moments remind us of the essential role dispatch plays in the safety and the well-being of our community. They are often the calm in the chaos, the voice in the dark that helps bring order, reassurance, and action when it's needed most. Our emergency communications professionals are the cornerstone of public safety in Larimer County. They are dedicated, compassionate, and highly skilled individuals whose work is as demanding as it is vital. While their efforts may often go unseen, they never go unnoticed. So thank you, Commissioners, for recognizing and honoring their service during National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Your support means the world to the team and to those of us who witness their excellence every day. To my fabulous dispatchers, thank you for showing up every day, for being the calm in the storm, and for doing that job that most of us never see. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Dan? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I was just curious, how does it work? So this weekend we received a LIDA alert, and you could say a little bit about what LIDA is for the public. We received a LIDA alert to sort of stay in place, stay at home, and based on an incident that occurred at the Foothills Mall that was reported in the paper today. When that 911 call goes to your dispatchers, how do we get, then what happens to get that LIDA alert from the Larimer Emergency Telephone Authority?
Sure. So yes, as you recognize, LIDA is our telephone authority. They sponsor a lot of our kind of universal systems that we use. So Everbridge is what we use for those alerts that go out. We use them for police activity, for fire evacuations, for flooding. So we kind of mass, kind of large nature we want to push out. So our 5 PSAPs here in the county, we can all issue those Everbridges. Lisa also works in partnership with us to send those out. So depending on what that incident calls for, this one was a shelter in place. And that is pretty typical for public or for police activities. So it's usually for that area. We also have within Everbridge, we have iPause, which is more of a national that you sometimes will see. We used it for the East Troublesome Fire up in Estes because there's a lot of tourism up there that they haven't opted in to receive these notifications, if you will, in Everbridge. So we're pretty selective of, okay, what masses are we trying to reach and what information are we trying to get out there as to what notification we do. But that one is a really good one. Gets a lot of that information out, gets them to shelter in place, and then usually there's an update of it's all clear, situations resolved. Okay. But that call was handled by Fort Collins.
Any other questions?
No, Madam Chair, I just have comments when it's appropriate.
And I will announce that Sheriff John Fagan is in the audience. I don't know if you want to speak at all. He might not want to, but I just wanted to say thank you for being here in support. Okay. He just said they're awesome, which we all agree with. So thank you. Well, we will read the proclamation then, and then we'll make some comments. So it looks like it's Commissioner Koufalos' turn to read that proclamation.
Okay, thank you. excuse me, a proclamation declaring April 13th through the 19th, 2025 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require law enforcement, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical service providers is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical service providers is dependent on the quality and accuracy of information obtained from those who contact the Larimer County Sheriff's Office Communications Center. And whereas public safety telecommunications are the first and most critical contact our community members have with emergency services, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical service providers by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are critical in improving the chance of survival for patients who experience sudden cardiac arrest by recognizing the need for cardiopulmonary resuscitation and other life-saving interventions prior to arrival of emergency medical services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of the Larimer County Sheriff's Office Communications Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each telecommunicator has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Larimer County Commissioners declares the week of April 13th through the 19th, 2025 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the county of Larimer, Colorado, in honor of the individuals whose diligence and professionalism keep our community safe.
Thank you, Commissioner. Did you want to read the
Yes.
Motion as well?
Yes. I move to approve the proclamation declaring April 13th through 19th, 2025 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week.
Thank you. So there's a motion on the table, and is there any further discussion? I imagine there is. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you. I know we first did this for the first time last year, and I'm so glad we're back doing this. This is so important to recognize all of you and the work that you do. As you said, 365, 24/7, and people, I think, take that for granted that when they call, you're the voice in the chaos and that calm to help folks in a time of crisis or just uncertainty. And the kind of the everyday unsung heroes who help coordinate all the right resources to those people. You're kind of the nameless people behind the phone calls. I know sometimes we were at LEDA, and we can see how sometimes the dispatchers can shut off the phone, and you can still hear and see them and help them. And just knowing how important that is for, especially with the crime victims proclamation, it just seems so timely that they're together, because you were the first person to help those crime victims and help them with their resource and make them feel safe and heard. And it's such an important step for so many reasons. I know you guys are fearless. There's a lot of stuff happening. You have to be prepared for everything. And you're priceless. You're so important in our community, and we don't often get to see you or hear from you or see you. And once the crisis is over and they hang up the phone, you guys just move on to the next thing. And that takes skills. And I want to say thank you to all of you. I know you call yourselves National Public Safety Telecommunicators, but I also know with dispatchers, and but I really think you're unsung heroes. And I just want to say, just know that we we thank you, we value you, and you are definitely the thin gold line in our community, a gold line that's so priceless that connects all the other agencies and lines and important agencies that come together in times to take care of our community, because public safety is one of the most important jobs we do as a county. And so I just wanted to say I'm really glad you're here, and much heartfelt gratitude, and thank you for your wonderful words today.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kafalis?
A little bit here. I do want to reiterate the point that indeed public safety is one of the most important things that we do in all kinds of situations, whether it's wildfires, um, um, uh, shooting incident, all sort, people who have gone into cardiac arrest or an automobile accident or something. So that's really important, and you all are integral to that, the success of how we serve the community. I also want to acknowledge that I think I see at least a couple of younger folks in the audience, and it seems like you're developing a talent pipeline. So I'm glad. I'm hoping that this is like a day at work, or that those folks will consider the range of options for future careers, and certainly being a dispatcher and a telecommunicator is really important. And then finally, I just want to acknowledge once again, perhaps I just appreciate the relationships developed over the years with our law enforcement folks. I don't know. There's some of the sometimes law enforcement people get a bad rap, but the sworn officers, the civilian folks. I mean, it's a team effort, and I am just humbly grateful that I don't know, gotten to be friends with a lot of cops and didn't think I'd ever do that. So I just think it's great, and we're all in this together. We do better when we're together, and your part of this is really super important. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Lorinda, is there anything you wanted to share?
As, as you were talking, I was thinking, you all are rarely seen and mostly just heard. So you're that voice that people hear on the phone. You're the voice that the deputy hears in the vehicle. You are that calm connection between the public and public safety. And what you do is invaluable. You are awesome. And I'm so happy so many of you are here today to be celebrated. It's great that we can recognize you all in this way. And thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I'll just add my thanks. Really appreciate the work that you do. You're clearly the backbone of how all things happen, and make sure that it's not chaotic, that everybody goes where they need to be, and that people are taken care of in our community, and not just our residents, but actually, law enforcement and other first responders. So you're responsible for a lot of people, and that's a big job. And we are glad to recognize you today, because you don't get the recognition, and many people really don't even understand the work that you do and how vital it is for our community's safety. So we're glad to be here today to be able to recognize you. And clearly, I mean, the work that you do is important, or the sheriff wouldn't be here, in solidarity with you, to also thank you for that work. So we're just really grateful for you for helping keep our community safe. And really, it's a great day when we get to honor all of you. And we have a lot of proclamations for you. In fact, I want to thank our clerk, Lindsay, who was gracious enough to scribble her name 20 different times. So it seems like we have one for all of you. And clearly, because of the work you do is so vital, that some of you aren't here today. So we'll make sure that everybody gets that copy of that proclamation. With that, we have a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0, and we will stop for a photo op. We are back. We have one more proclamation this morning, and it is a proclamation to make April 2025 Fair Housing Month. We have Aaliyah Rodriguez and Lexi Valenti with us for this proclamation, and they will kind of kick it off.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's a great morning to be here, so inspiring. Thank you for sticking it out for us. I'm Aaliyah Rodriguez. I'm the Housing Stability Manager with Larimer County. Before I begin, I do want to express gratitude and thanks to Lexi Valenti, our housing liaison. She helped coordinate and write the proclamation that'll be read today, so thank her for that work. All right, so today we come together to recognize and reaffirm our commitment to the fundamental principle that every person deserves access to safe, stable, and fair housing, regardless of race, color, religion, familial status, abilities, sexual orientation, source of income, gender expression, sorry, my tablet went to sleep, or marital status. Housing is more than just a place to live. It's the foundation for opportunity, well-being, and economic security. Yet for many in our community, barriers to housing still exist. Fair Housing Month is a time to raise awareness of these injustices that still occur across the housing spectrum, from rental agreements to home purchases to mortgage lending, and to renew our efforts to ensure equality for all. Here in Larimer County, we acknowledge the disproportionate impact that discrimination has on low-income households, individuals with disabilities, and communities of color. In Larimer County, over 10% of our residents live with a disability and face heightened risks of housing instability. In response, Larimer County's Office of Housing Stability continues to prioritize equitable housing access by working alongside many trusted partners, which is the theme of 2025's Fair Housing Month. The theme is Building Futures Together, Collaborative Approaches to Housing. And this is the 57th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act, which was established in 1968. In honor of today's proclamation, we'd like to highlight Neighbor to Neighbor as one of those trusted partners that we work with in our community. In addition to their many housing counseling programs that educate community members about fair housing rights across the entire housing spectrum, today we're elevating and highlighting their work that they do as a community-driven landlord as well. Their Imperial Estates development provides affordable, dignified, and supportive housing for very low-income adults with disabilities, setting a powerful example of what fair housing looks like in action. So with that, I'd like to call our partner up to say a few words. This is Jenny Maeda, the Deputy Director of Neighbor to Neighbor.
Thank you so much. Again, Jenny Maeda for Neighbor to Neighbor. Thank you to the commissioners and to Larimer County for recognizing April as Fair Housing Month and recognizing Neighbor to Neighbor. We applaud your commitment to housing as it is the foundation for a strong region. From homelessness through homeownership, Neighbor to Neighbor is providing sustainable housing, supportive services, and education to families and individuals in Larimer County. We're committed to helping neighbors stay in their homes, regain stability, and achieve homeownership. It was on that premise that Neighbor to Neighbor was founded in 1970 when Fort Collins neighbors banded together to prevent a family from losing their home. In that same neighborly spirit, today we carry forward the tradition of lending a hand in a time of need, now helping more than 5,000 neighbors achieve, preserve, and sustain their own homes each year. Our Imperial property is focused on providing stable housing for individuals who have extremely low or low income and also a disability. It takes some of our existing precious housing stock and allows adults to live together in a shared space with supportive services. We've seen individuals flourish in this environment and enjoy the ability to live independently. In order to provide our future housing needs in Larimer County, we have to consider all forms of housing to provide for our aging and disabled individuals and those of different family makeups. We applaud your efforts for furthering fair housing in our community. Thank you again for your support and recognition of our work. We're proud to be considered one of your partners.
Thank you, Jenny. And thank you, Aaliyah. Any questions for Jenny or Aaliyah? Yes? No questions? No. Okay. I guess you did a great job of explaining things. So we will move on to our proclamation. And Commissioner Shattuck McNally, I'll have you read that and make the motion, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for being here today. Proclamation for Fair Housing Month. Whereas housing discrimination is a pressing issue affecting thousands of households across our nation. Whereas housing discrimination takes many forms and occurs in different types of housing transactions, including rental, real estate sales, mortgage lending, housing-related insurance, and appraisal transactions. Whereas the month of April provides an opportunity to raise awareness about the challenges faced by renters and home buyers, and especially protected classes, and to emphasize the importance of reducing discrimination and affirmatively furthering fair housing across the housing spectrum. Whereas Larimer County believes all households deserve access to safe and stable housing and acknowledges that low-income households and households of color are at higher risk of facing unlawful housing discrimination. Whereas in 2022, the Department of Housing and Urban Development saw the largest number of fair housing complaints ever filed, with discrimination based on disability and race as the two most reported complaints. Whereas the 2023 census data reported that 10.06% of those living in Larimer County are individuals with disabilities and 11% of those are living in unincorporated Larimer County. Whereas Larimer County acknowledges the impact of housing discrimination on community members' health, well-being, and economic prosperity, and has identified special interest populations, including individuals with disabilities, as a priority for increased access to housing resources, and has formalized the Office of Housing Stability to address those ongoing housing needs. Whereas Neighbor to Neighbor, a dedicated community partner, exemplifies its commitment to equitable housing access through its properties, particularly Imperial Estates, a development which offers affordable housing in alignment with HUD Section 811, ensuring rental opportunities with integrated supportive services for very low and extremely low income adults with disabilities, embodying the true spirit of fair housing stewardship. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners for Larimer County, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Fair Housing Month. By recognizing April as Fair Housing Month, we hope to unite our community in the fight against housing discrimination and inspire positive change for some of our most vulnerable residents. Dated this 8th day of April 2025, signed by our chair for the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County. And Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the proclamation declaring April 2025 as Fair Housing Month. And if it's all right, I might go ahead and make my comments now.
Please go ahead.
First, just thank you all for being here. You're the last to go, and I appreciate you being here for all the things. And I really appreciate our partners with Neighbor to Neighbor. I remember hearing about the needs for, I think we gave some American Rescue Plan dollars for renovation and changes at Imperial Estates for those individuals. And I think that's so great to have that in that proclamation, because I know sometimes that was a need we may not be aware of, and it was so important. I'm testifying on a rental legislation bill this week to provide some more rights for folks in rental agreements that are unjust and unfair. So I think it's kind of interesting that the timing of all of this, I will be adding some of these comments into my testimony because it was a kind of a no-brainer bill, but this is really, I think I'm going to make everyone aware of the importance of the timing of this. but I think, again, unsung heroes, we talked about the first wealth is health, and and housing is health. And everyone and every single person deserves a place to call home, regardless. And I can say regardless of all the things, but regardless of everything. And I think that that is something we all strive to do. And I want to just say that it's really important for us to understand that everyone deserves a safe and comfortable and place to call home, and to have a place to call home, and lay their heads down and not have to worry about their safety or whether or not they're going to wake up in the morning. And I just feel like everyone in this country deserves to live free from bias and discrimination and danger. We had two unfortunate deaths in this community the past month or so, where individuals were living in a culvert, and I just want to say that again, just really important to remind ourselves that everyone deserves a safe place to rest. And that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kafalis?
Yes, please. Three points I wish to make. One is that to emphasize the comments that were made about partnerships, and certainly Neighbor to Neighbor has been a great partner. I mean, one example of that is the helping to, or being the main administrators of the emergency rental assistance program, and I think that demonstrated how well we do that, and that provided a lot of support for a lot of families for quite a number of years, and I believe there's a version of it still going on. The second point I wish to make is perhaps there was a reference to the humble origins of Neighbor to Neighbor 1970. It's possible that a couple of folks in this hearing room might not have been born at that point, but I'm reminded of the beginnings of Neighbor to Neighbor, and one of the co-founders was one of my heroes who passed away many years ago, Lou Stitzel, and I think it's important to raise up those folks. And then finally, and there may be a question inserted in here, so I'll try to be really creative and not really pose it as a question. Innovation is really important, and one of the things that I appreciate about Neighbor to Neighbor, there's a lot of things, but the home share program, perhaps Jenny, you could say a little bit about the home share program, and I'd be curious to know how it's going, and are we getting more folks involved?
We can entertain that if Jenny is willing to speak on that for a few minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I can definitely get more information for you because I don't want to speak incorrectly on specifically the home share program. But I know we're working on it and we continue to kind of work through those. But I'm happy to send information through your team. Is that acceptable?
That would be lovely. What is the home share program?
I would be happy to tell you that.
I bet
Thank
you could do that quite well.
I absolutely can do that. So our home share program provides an opportunity for folks who have maybe some extra housing or extra rooms in their home to be able to share it with other individuals looking. So it's a great and kind of speaks to my point on just using the existing housing stock that we have to be able to make it go further, and having folks that are looking for a house team up and share a house with those that have extra room in their space. So,
For those of us who come from the Catholic worker perspective, it reminds me of what Dorothy Day used to talk about, that those of us of better means perhaps should offer up rooms for hospitality. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Lorinda, is there anything you'd like to say?
I'll keep it brief. Aaliyah, thank you for bringing this forward. Housing is one of those critical things for communities, and for highlighting Neighbor to Neighbor. That has been an amazing partnership throughout the pandemic, and as we recovered from that, you were a great partner for the countywide. So people may think of you as a Fort Collins-based organization. You serve the entire county, and you did so just amazingly during that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for bringing this forward. I think this is a really important piece to remember as we talk about housing, is that there's still discrimination. Redlining kind of had happened in many communities, and unfortunately discrimination still occurs in housing. And so this is really, in honor of the bill that prevented that from happening, we still need to be sort of aware of how that happens in our community. And so I think that that piece is really important. I think that one thing that we got rid of that honestly was unfair was the occupancy limits, so that a program like Home Share can really flourish. So maybe you have 3 bedrooms in your house that that might be available, and you can't downsize because we don't have enough places to downsize in Larimer County or Fort Collins. And so that's a way that you can keep your home and really share your home with others. And so I just want people to be mindful about, I'm glad you shared the statistics of how many people that have disabilities that still might experience discrimination, or people that might be discriminated because of race or ethnic background. We just need to make sure that that doesn't happen. And so Imperial States is a great opportunity. And I'm glad we're highlighting that today, because I think that is a great space. But as we do this work, we obviously need to create more spaces like that so everyone has a home. But thank you for your work. I know you both are really dedicated. And Aaliyah, just thank you for, really bringing this forward today. So with that, we have a motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes. We will stop for our last photograph of the day. And thank you. Thank you. We are back from the proclamations, and just wanted to say, the proclamations did take a while today, but it's important to recognize people in our community who are doing really hard and important work. So thank you for bearing with us for all the stops for the photos, but we wanted to make sure we were documenting all that great work. I will turn it over now to the county manager for the county manager update.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's going to be very short today. I was away last week helping out some family out of state, and I wanted to just say thank you to Lori Kadrich, our Assistant County Manager, for carrying things forward while I was away.
Thank you. She did a great job, and we're glad you got the time to get away. We'll move on to Commissioner activity reports. Commissioner Kofalis, any report?
I'm going to pass.
Thank you. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to take a moment and thank everyone that came today and sat through those proclamations, because I do think it's really important that we take that moment to recognize, especially Crime Victims Weekend and Telecommunicators. They're all really important. But I also want to take a moment to recognize Larimer County. For the National Association of Counties, I'm sure my colleagues know that April is National County Government Month, and which we probably didn't do a proclamation at, but I think we should stop a moment to stop and recognize the essential services that we as a county and other counties across the country in our state, 64 in the state of Colorado and 3,100 across the whole nation. And the services, essential services we provide to communities nationwide and in our region. And as we see the needs arise and the financial demands grow, we know here at Larimer County, we must make the most out of every dollar to support our communities, especially in these uncertain times. And so I want to say thank you to every single county employee in Larimer County for their work, no matter what they do, whether they're a dispatcher, telecommunication specialist, or our sheriff, or our open lands rangers, every single one of them. You are an important part of the team as we recognize the work that counties do during National County Month. I wanted to share with my colleagues, I gave you all, but share with the public with the 2024 Larimer County Behavioral Health Services annual report is out. Lots of great information. I want to thank Madeline Novi and Amy Martinez and their team who did this in-house to save money, and I want to thank them for a job well done. But two highlights I wanted to share. We put in the report this year to share what kind of individuals are coming from different areas and where the clients are coming from and the ages served. So I wanted to just recognize, I've been sharing that for the first year, the amount of visits were over 6,000. I was wrong. It's actually, the final numbers are over 7,000 total visits. Almost 4,000 of those were unique individuals, and 78% of those were walk-ins for the Longview Center, and also 0 people were turned away. 0. And I wanted to share that between the ages of 15 and under and 15 to 24, we are looking at almost 23% of those individuals at the center were served were, in my mind, youth and young adults. So really important work. And I wanted to say that you will be able to go to the Larimer County website. There is a QR code and some of the things that you can go and see this report online. And some of the stories, and there are stories even in this item. And one of those stories is the first person who ever walked into the door at 8 a.m. when we opened our doors on December 2nd, 2023, and that individual came back and talked to those people who helped him, and he is still enjoying sobriety and a healthier life, and he is so grateful. And that story is on the website, so please go check it out. And really, lots of great things to share about that. As there's been a lot of things happening. We had a rodeo board meeting. We're getting a couple new rodeo board, or a new rodeo board member, and those folks are really working hard to get ready for the rodeo. I want to thank them for all their work. I appreciate the Dalen Figs and Megan and Chris Fleming and all the people who put all the work into the Department of Natural Resources all staff meeting. The presentation on equity and inclusivity in our open spaces was a phenomenal presentation, and I really was grateful for that opportunity to hear. It was very inspiring, and I'm glad we're doing more work with that. It was the Regional Opioid Abatement Learning Forum for the Regional Opioid Abatement Council, which I serve as vice chair. We're still meeting monthly, and there's still a lot of work happening to get our data aligned with the regions and the state and the national. But we're also, Colorado was the only, but now joined by the state of Washington, who has spent all of their funds. And if you look at the maps and looking across the nation where folks are still struggling where to put the money and save lives, Colorado's leading the way. And I'm very proud of that work and proud of our state. And I'm proud of all the people who work and volunteer on those communities. It's really important. I met with a state forester on Thursday, or April 3rd, and then I went into the stakeholder webinar for the wooded biomass study, which is really excited. Can't wait for the folks to get to read it from the public. And then Commissioner Cavalis and I attended the Overland Trail Daughters of the American Revolution Patriotic Awards ceremony. Was at a different location. I can't tell you how inspiring those teachers are from the mountain schools of Poudre School District, and their parents and the families and the students. And some of those students were really inspiring this year. They're always inspiring, but I was really touched by some of the things they're doing to help their community in lots of different ways. And we also gave their very prestigious distinguished award for a member of the community, Gary Rickner, and we were able to present him with that award, and that was really special to be able, since we know him through his work with the Veterans Plaza. That was a lot of fun, and appreciate that opportunity to attend. I had my common grounds. We had our Forest Health Council meeting, and we are starting to look at, as a Forest Health Council, we're going to discuss this at our quarterly meeting. I will be in, Commissioner Stevens and I will be out of town, but I'm going to do virtually, and we're starting to look at if the Forest Health Council will look and weigh in on federal issues, and also getting ready already for next year with our 2026 priorities starting to form. And so some of that has to do with woody biomass. So there's a strong nexus and connection, and I'm going to get pretty vocal about that as a commissioner with my colleagues and also with our staff. So I just want to give a heads up on that. And then I had my common grounds. We had lots of folks come to that, but I also had representatives from the congressman from District 4 come and participate, and wasn't expecting that, but I welcomed their opportunity. They were really interested to learn about what we're doing at the county, and I appreciate that engagement. On Saturday, the Poudre Valley REA annual breakfast, as always, as a member of that organization, because that's where I get my electricity, because it's a member co-op. Certainly great to meet with the board and talk with some of my neighbors who were there for breakfast. I got to hang out a little bit with our Larimer County rodeo queen. They have the rodeo queens from all the counties that they serve, and it was a great celebration and a chance to talk with folks about the importance of reliability, and that organization is one of the highest rates of reliability and low rates in the country, in the state. So very proud of that work here for our residents. And we, Commissioner Steve and I attended some rallies, some really great chance to participate and engage with folks. And then we had our joint behavioral health policy, TAC, and consumer advisory meeting yesterday. And I wanted to share that with my colleagues because it was well received, lots of great questions about some of the changes we're looking at to our impact grants funding. And that's going to come back before us as a board, so you'll get all those details. But I want to just really highlight to my colleagues that we had full participation again from all the cities that are involved. The representatives came, which is something I've been trying to work on for a long time. In the last couple of meetings, we've had all the representation there, and from our local electives or designees. And I think that's really important, especially at this time when we're looking kind of to some of the openings and changes, and having that feedback along with the members of the other two committees. So it was a very special time. I did testify, my colleagues, on the insurance bill for enterprise bill for helping with wildfire insurance. And I've been in touch with the Colorado Insurance Commissioner, who has agreed to help me come and do a town hall to discuss wildfire insurance and homeowners insurance, to kind of present on the landscape, and that will be coming forward, and I'm organizing that. So I just wanted to share that with the public. More to come. He did a town hall in Jefferson County, and I think it would be very valuable for our residents to have the same opportunity to learn and ask questions. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll be very brief since the hour is late. I just really want to thank Jordan Dunn, right? Okay, sorry. Almost lost that for a second. For coordinating the local government workshop that I participated in yesterday, along with Extension and Family Leadership Training Institute. There were a number of people that participated, including former Larimer County 101 attendees, and it was just a really great event with a lot of folks from mobile home parks and MIVOs. And so it was a great community activity. There were several Fort Collins City Council members there as well, just to answer questions and to really workshop some problems with some community members. So as always, it was a great event that Jordan put on, and I appreciate the work that they've done for our county over the past year, and we wish them well. So that is all the business that we have today, and so at 11:42 we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.